They call it the honeymoon, the president's first 100 days where he can maximize the political capital from the election and set his policy agenda in motion. We are roughly a third of the way through the honeymoon, but the current legislation inertia from the White House has some fellow Republicans in Congress worried about the near-term future. Joining us to discuss the perils and the possibilities, Al Motter, Democratic strategist, former member of Hillary Clinton's campaign finance committee, and in New York, Evan Siegfried, Republican strategist and author of GOP GPS. Gentlemen, appreciate you being here. We're just about 3 hours away now from the president's rally in Melbourne, Florida. Evan, reasonable people could agree that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was a pretty rough week for the president. We had the reset press conference on Thursday, the rally at the Boeing facility on Friday where he gave a speech about jobs, and today, what are we going to hear as the reset continues?
I think we're going to hear President Trump really go out and appeal to his base. And that's good. That energizes him. That gives him strength. But at the same time, he needs to go out and appeal to the other part of America that is uneasy about what's going on lately and feel that they need to be put at ease by President Trump. Thursday did not help. Same with last week and the week before and the week before. So there is some unease that President Trump needs to speak to.
Al, to that point a little bit, though, you have to, like it or not, the Democrats have to be a little bit worried about this president's uncanny ability to change the narrative. On Wednesday, a lot of Democrats were saying we have him on the ropes. You had Mike Flynn resign. You had all those stories about chaos in the White House. And wham, all of a sudden he's got this huge crowd coming in Melbourne, Florida.
Well, look, Leland, and thanks for having me on, but this is what he does, right? He goes above the media, he goes directly to his supporters, and he's doing it again. He did it during the campaign, he did it during the transition with his victory lap, and now he's doing it again in Florida, even though he's only a month in to his presidency.
But okay, but Al, you guys have, the Democrats have seen this play, as you just pointed out. Is there anything Democrats can do? Are you going to change the defense a little bit or keep running the same one?
Well, the difference is he's not really getting anything done. If you go back 8 years when President Obama was in office, one day before today, the American Recovery Act, which saved our economy, passed into law. President Trump's been in for a month, and nothing's even been introduced to save our economy or even buttress it.
Evan will debate whether or not the Recovery Act saved the economy or certainly or just made the recovery a little bit more difficult. Different time to debate that. To that point, though, when does President Trump have to start doing things that he can't just do by executive action? When does his base start holding him responsible for Obamacare and for tax reform?
He needs to do that now, and he needs to work with congressional Republicans. They're still waiting to have outreach and discussions with the White House about what repeal and replace will look like, what tax reform will look like, and many other things. But at the same time, Democrats, like Alice said, are just sitting back and saying, we're not going to participate and become this party of no. They tried that in 2016 by saying, we aren't Donald Trump, and they lost. They actually need to put forth a positive vision and actually connect with the American voter. Running around and screaming that everything is bad isn't a policy, and it's not going to win them over voters. They need to put out policies that are pro-worker.
Well,
what are you doing aside from sitting out there?
That's not all we're doing. For example, the Democrats have put forth an infrastructure plan. Chuck Schumer and a bunch of senators did that. They'd love to work with the president.
Come on, Al. You can put together an infrastructure plan, but the Democrats have become a party of no when it comes to voting almost uniformly against every single one of President Trump's cabinet nominees, trying to slow that process down as much as they can. Certainly not something the Republicans did in early 2009. How isn't this the party of no?
Well, on the nominees, Leland, look, the base is furious. It's the most conservative cabinet that's been nominated in the history of our country. And yes, people are opposing those nominees.
So you don't show up to even the hearings to vote them out of committee?
In terms of actual policy,
that's a temper tantrum that
people
toddlers
are ready to work with the president on an infrastructure, on health care, on tax reform, but we've yet to see any proposals.
Fellas, we got to go. You guys sound like the Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.
Thank you for having us.